G'day, this is my Lighthouse grinder. It is another theme on the grinders that use the crush grind mechanism. Some of you will already have seen the plans for this on my website, uturn.tv. This video is all about how I make them. So what will you need? Well, first of all you will need the plans. Now they can be downloaded from my website. All of the measurements or the diameters are over here. Now unfortunately for some they're in millimeters. Over here are all the lengths, the critical lengths. This section here, the lens of the Lighthouse, is clear resin, clear epoxy resin. Now this design has been based on the Aries Inlet Lighthouse. The Aries Inlet Lighthouse is in Western Victoria in Australia, so Google that, have a look at the image of that and you'll see that it's pretty close. Not exact detail for detail, but not too bad. Let's have a look at the lens. The lens I've cast up using epoxy resin, the 606 clear epoxy resin that I use, and that's been my mould. It's just a disposable plastic cup that came out of. That's my lens, 40 millimeters long. It's plenty wide enough. I'm not exactly sure how wide that is, but it's plenty of width there. My timber, now this is the standard sizes that I need for the body of a grinder. This is plenty big enough. Usually I start off with about 3-inch square by 10 inches long, so 75 mil by 250 long. This is actually now 240 long. The top wood, now there is the piece of wood that will be used for the top. This was 4 inches or 100 mil long. I've got excess there, more than I need. Look at the spigot. Now that spigot is longer than normal grinders, but I found that that's a good way of making sure that the shaft of the grinder, the excess that pokes through, doesn't actually go into the lens part of the Lighthouse. Just to show you what I mean, here is the picture of the Lighthouse. We've got a shaft that comes up here, but the spigot comes down to around about there. The excess part of the shaft will stick into this part, which is all wood, and it won't go into this clear resin section so you don't see it. Make sure that your hole in here is plenty deep enough to accommodate that extra long spigot, like so. So I'll put that to one side and I will bring my tailstock up, tighten that up, and we're ready to turn. Now part of what I want to talk about is how I go about replicating these measurements onto a piece of wood. How I get this design and how I transfer all of this information and get what I've got here onto here. Ready to turn. Tools I've got for this project are going to be a roughing gouge to start roughing things down, get this smaller in diameter, and then only 3 or 4 other tools that I'll need for this. But one thing you will need to get your measurements, I use a set of vernier calipers. You could use something like these universal, Woodfast universal calipers as well, they're good, or whatever else you've got. The overall length is, we can see for the body, is 240 mil. So from this point here to the top there is the body. So the body finishes at that point there, and that's 240 millimeters long. So I need to turn this shape, this step down, that curve. That curve actually flows through that bead and out the other side. A little bit tricky, but we'll see how we go with that. And then this bead. How do we do that? Well, first of all, what I want to do is get my overall diameter down to about 72, perhaps 73, to allow for a little bit of sanding. 73 millimeters. Let's do that now. I need this measurement down here to be 67 millimeters. So I just always add a little bit extra, so 67, I'm going to go to 68 millimeters and turn that to 68 millimeters. There it is there, and I can get rid of that wood there. can probably get rid of a bit of this wood here. And back the other way. And I can take a bit of this wood off too. Because that's my 72mm down there. Let's turn the lathe off. Let's have a look at my next drawing. Now let's transfer some measurements from here onto here. Now I'm going to do the lengths now. So 8mm from here downwards. So that's that one there. And then there's 6. Then there's 12mm, which is this section in here, and 9. So I'll just put that to one side. And first measurement is, I'll just get rid of that face mask for a sec. So now my first measurement is 8mm. There it is there. Next one is from there is 6mm, so I'm going to go down to 14mm. There it is. From there is 12mm, so 12 down from there, and then it is 9. So 12 plus 9 is 21, so there it is there. Let's scribe those all the way around. Now they're all the measurements I need. I've got, that's 72 down there. I need to do nothing more with that. Then there's a bead, then there's a little bit of a half cove there, and 2 steps in here. So I'm going to work from this end downwards that way, and I'm going to get this diameter first. Now basically when I turn or trying to do replicas or do more than one of anything, when I'm trying to follow a plan, I convert everything into square sections like this, or rectangular sections like that. So this will get converted into a rectangular section first, similar to this one here. The next diameter down, this one here, is 62mm. So let's add a millimetre onto my verniers, so that's 63, and we'll turn that. We'll get our tool rest a bit closer, and 62mm from here. There it is there. That's 62mm plus a little bit. Now from here I need to go down. I need to sweep down here. So it's this measurement down here, 47mm is the one that I'm concerning myself with. Now I'm going to go to 49mm just to allow for a little bit of the curve there. 49mm. Come in there. 49mm. And make sure that this back jaw, the bottom jaw, is in that groove. Now what I might do here is just clear a bit of this wood away so that the verniers will get in down there. There it is there. Now this diameter here I can part just there, take off a bit of that. I'm just sighting through that gap there to see if this diameter is the same as that one. It's a bit more. That's alright. There it is about there. And now I can get the diameter of that bead, and that bead is 55mm. I'll add a millimetre to that. You can add less, often depending on the wood, but sometimes I will go down to, and my verniers, sometimes I only add half a millimetre. There it is. So there is the rectangular shape, that I'm going to roll the edges of to get that bead. But I'll leave that for the moment and I'll start shaping this. Need to put my face mask back on. I need to be careful here that I don't fall off this cut and go into that bead. Now this is more or less just a straight line from that point there, which is 72 up here, down to this diameter here, which is 47. So that's all I need to do, just a straight cut from one point to the next. Finding it difficult to get into there with the rocking gouge or the spindle gouge, and I'm just going to use this as a scraper to tidy that up. Now I'm looking through here to see if this diameter is the same, flows through to that diameter there, and I would suggest that it's not looking quite right at the moment. I perhaps need to go a little bit thinner there. I never did actually get an accurate measurement on that. That there is more like 50 mils, so I need to be more further or closer to 47, so I'm going to go 47 and a half, and there we go. So that's the diameter I need to cut down to. That's a slightly rounded skew chisel. Good for this sort of job on a harder timber. Perhaps some timbers just won't work very well, but it enables me to get right down into that corner there. Now I've got to try and blend this curve into this, and it makes it look as though this has been added on later on. I'm going to drop my tool rest a little bit. And what I've got to be very careful about is I don't catch this edge on that wood there. And that's going to be a little bit difficult with this tool. Now, a simple way to roll these beads is just use your skew chisel as a scraper, go in at about 45 that way, 45, take an inch off there, and then just start rounding over. Like that. That'll do me. Just a little bit more. Now what I've got here is a skew chisel that I've ground, so that it is going to actually get into that area there like that. So as a scraper, I'm going to go in there nicely. Sometimes you do need a grind tool to get, or to make your cut, your shape easy to achieve. So ready to sand, and you don't need to watch that. We'll come back later on when this is sanded and we'll start on the top section of my lighthouse.